Good evening, Jessica Van Vonderen with ABC News. Damned if they do, damned if they don't. After being slammed at the Banking Royal Commission for lending people more than they could afford, banks tightened up on home loans. Now the government's urging the banks to free up credit amid fears for the economy. Stephen Long reports.
We're seeing a slowdown across the board.
Mortgage broker Fiona McManus has been helping people get home loans for 8 years, and she's never known the like of it.
I have not seen it as tough as this. We're seeing the banks are coming down heavily on credit. They're looking at bank statements line by line to make sure people are not overborrowing.
After years of lax lending, the Treasurer seems to think the banks are now being too cautious.
My message is still very clear to the banks. Keep your books open. You have a social and economic responsibility to do so, and it's in the economy's interests and it's in the public's interests.
Come through here. Thank you. It's a very big house.
Last year, house prices suffered their biggest loss since the global financial crisis, and there's worse to come.
If you restrict funds, it's like water. It's like anything. You need circulation of funds for everyone to be moving around and buying and selling more easily.
Official figures show housing credit growth has slowed to an annual pace of 4.9%, well below the 10-year average rate of 6.3%.
So the downside risks to the economy are building by the day, and with every month where we see house prices fall.
The government's using that risk to attack Labor's policy to limit negative gearing tax concessions to newly built dwellings.
It was a policy that was prepared at a different time when prices were going up. Now that prices are coming down, it's time that the Labor Party abandoned this terrible policy.
We want first home buyers to be able to get a foot in the door to get their first place.
Small business owners who often use their homes as collateral for business loans are also feeling the squeeze.
With the tightening in credit that we're seeing linked to the fall in house prices, the small business sector is under a lot of pressure.
For a long time, the expectation was that the next move in the Reserve Bank's official interest rate would be up. Now markets are pricing in a rates cut by year's end, and many economists are tipping more than one, which might suggest the credit crackdown has been too successful.
I don't think it's a bad thing because I think in the past people have borrowed, more than what they can afford.
But an economy addicted to easy credit can't be weaned without pain. Stephen Long, ABC News.